Welcome to this session of Data Protector Options. I'm Uli Waldscheid, Product Manager for Data Protector, and I will be talking about deduplication tuning. Data Protector has introduced a deduplication store capability in Data Protector version 11.0, which is a pure software-based deduplication backup device. It is meant to be used in data center and remote office locations, wherever you just need a little bit of capacity for backup storage, or where you have larger configurations going on in large data centers, where you even want to upload data into the cloud for long-term storage, or you want to offload to tape drives. Data Protector deduplication can be deployed on physical virtual machines, even in the cloud, and it just takes the local resources that you provide to it in terms of storage capacity and compute power. Data Protector deduplication can be used the same way as deduplication appliances available today. So it offers you the same look and feel, the same configuration, and also the same workflows within a backup configuration, disaster recovery configuration. It just takes a couple of minutes to prepare for first backup, so it's very easy deployable and you can change it anytime. And it can also be used in remote offices where you have low bandwidth internet connections, where source or client-side deduplication is used. So just recently, we have introduced a couple of enhancements to it. Data Protector software-based target has been enhanced from its initial version. In the first attempt in Data Protector 11.0, we were opting for a successor of the existing software store device that we had so far. In Data Protector 11.01, we're adding a couple more large enterprise features to it, which makes it even more valuable. First of all, it's support for cloud storage for that DPD store. You can use Data Protector deduplication to back up locally and then upload into the cloud or move data into the cloud directly. DPD becomes a cloud gateway at that very moment, optimizing your data, deduplicating the data for you. It's also capable of migrating information within the cloud between different data tiers. We're also making use of DPD for three-way NDMP backup, which is larger filer backups supported in the industry. And we're also supporting the use of VMware Granular Recovery extension, where you can extract single files from VMware backups. There are a couple more performance-related options that we're going to discuss later. So the Data Protector architecture looks like the following. You have a Data Protector store device on the right-hand side, and like you just learned, it can be local storage or cloud storage. And on the left-hand side, you may have various sources of information coming in or source systems coming in while backup, where you have a choice of target side deduplication, where data is moved over in a one-to-one original format and deduplicated on the target side on the right-hand side of the screen. You can make use of source side deduplication, where data is optimized on the client already, or you have something like an interim solution, where you have a dedicated media server taking also the load of deduplication activity. So data is coming in a one-to-one format and then deduplicated on its way to the deduplication store. So the various options of storage systems lets you either create high performance or cost-optimized configurations, depending on storage technology you use at the end of the day. We're also making sure that individual mount points are used for this scenario, so you can optimize and direct your data flow exactly to the right store that you need. In case of cloud storage, we are offering migration in between different data tiers. So if you look at AWS, we support migration from S3 to Glacier. In case of Azure, we support migration from hot to either cool or archive storage. That's based on the number of days that are set when you create the store. For three-way NDMP usage, we use Data Protector as a target device as well, where a media server or a media agent installed on a certain system acts like a backup device to it, or also like a gateway system to it. And this allows you to read NDMP-based data from a NAS filer system and then forward the information in a deduplicated way into the DPD storage capability. To support further speed and also optimize capacity usage, we're now allowing the separation of deduplication data from the internal metadata. Metadata holds information about the deduplication itself, and we're recommending to put this data on very fast, like SSD drives, to support performance. The larger capacity is stored in that so-called dedup directory. This is where the large kind of number of blocks is actually stored for the long run. And this can be either cost-effective disk drives, or it could be cloud storage attached to the end of it. With the Data Protector 11.01 release and the new version of DPD, we also support the encryption of this store, meaning that after a backup, data cannot be read or in any form kind of misused anymore. And we're also allowing to set up dedicated network ports for it. If that option is not used, all the stores are running on the same port, which makes life a little bit easier for network configuration in terms of firewall and many more. If you use dedicated ports, you have a slightly better performance, but you need to take care of those additional ports which are configured. Now, if customers want to migrate from whatever a previous software store solution that we had or from any other dedup device, then the following procedure will actually happen. Data is basically read from the original storage device, and data has to be rehydrated throughout that process. And the Data Protector object copy capability moves it over to the other side, in this case, the DPD device, and deduplicates the data again. So the reason for that is that the deduplication itself is not kind of compatible along the industry. There are a couple of principles which are similar, like hashing, chunking, compression, and more. But the way it is handled and the way the data is actually set together and formed into objects is different in between the vendors. So therefore, there is no direct object copy or replication technology available, only in between two compatible partners. So Data Protector Sizing has certain guidelines, and you may want to check the Data Protector documentation on DocOps. The most important items to look at are memory, where the system should start at 32 gigabytes available memory here. And CPU should actually start at about like 8 to 10 CPU cores. So that makes sure that deduplication and also storage of individual blocks can be done in the fastest possible way. Because at the end of the day, that's directly influencing your backup runtimes or your restore runtimes. You should also look at the storage system that you have sitting underneath. We support a number of different file systems and also platforms. Usually that's Windows and Linux. And you need to calculate for some overhead in terms of storage capacity and also for a minimum of certain IOPS for reads and writes. Another very important sizing guideline is networking. DPD is a pure networking device because it doesn't have any fiber channel connectivity right now. So everything, all data flow is done by a typical networking TCP/IP protocol. And obviously, you want to make sure that the data coming in from various directions can be offloaded into the DPD system the fastest possible way. And therefore, we're highly recommending a 10 gigabit connection in between the switch and the DPD system to actually receive many data streams at the same time. There's also administration possible in terms of CLI, where you can check, restart, shut down, list, and print individual information from those DPD stores for the administration people. So some more general best practices. First of all, there is a certain responsibility for the administration setting up the underlying platform for DPD. It needs to be made sure that the underlying infrastructure is somehow fault tolerant, high available, and also has a minimum of performance, because the underlying platform will actually define how fast or slow a backup solution will be at the end. Also make sure that the system, the underlying system, is protected from power loss or any other failures, because at the end of the day, DPD cannot foresee an unclean shutdown and prepare for that in a certain way. So the administrator needs to make sure that the system is up to the test. There are also some configuration variables I'm not going into much detail about here, but anyway, block size is important, but we already set DPD block size to the maximum available today, which is 1024 kilobytes at that moment. We're also recommending to not use any other compression or encryption technology, because that will take away a lot of deduplication capabilities. Even though they are available, and for some configurations they might be important, deduplication will suffer if you turn those options on. On the other side, Data Protector supports general encryption for in-flight data, where data is encrypted, and then on the target side it will be unencrypted again before it's stored on disk. If you turn this option on, it will not harm any of the performance of DPD and also the deduplication rate itself. So thank you very much for spending the time on this topic, and wishing you a nice day. Bye-bye.